Hey everyone, welcome back to a new episode of In the Cup. And we have another busy weekend sports, but I'm ready. I have my USA nails
How
done.
cute.
We are ready for the 4th of July and the USA game on Wednesday. But we'll talk about our weekends first. I have my house back. My parents were here for a couple of weeks. It was a good visit, but it's
Yeah.
always nice to have your space back to yourself and get back into your normal routines. Although
Yeah.
I will miss dinner being ready for me every
So
night.
nice.
I
Yes.
know. I didn't have to cook for myself for 2 weeks. But I did get to take them to Torrey Pines to the grill.
Ooh.
And the food is the food, but it's definitely more of the vibes. Like you can
Yeah.
see the course, and we were there right before sunset. So it was a nice
Nice.
little, we did that on the last night. So it was a nice little end cap to their trip. But I can show them where I always talk about going
Yeah.
almost every week to play. So got to bring them into my golf world a little bit. Your weekend was a little bit more exciting,
It
Amanda.
was.
Tell the
It,
folks at home about the
you
drama.
know, it was jam-packed. Friday, we had some summer thunderstorms in the area. Lightning hit a tree in our front yard, which caused it to topple over
Big
into the
tree.
street. It
Big
was
tree.
a big old tree, like big. And I was honestly really surprised that the city had it cleaned up within like the day. It happened at like 9:30 in the morning, so it happened
Yeah.
pretty early. But by like 4:30, it was done. Like it was cleaned up. We had traffic coming through again. They tried to
Well, it was
repair
smack
some of
dab in the middle of the street.
I know. We tried to repair some of the grass that was ripped up. So yeah, so it was quite interesting. Adventures of home ownership.
Buy a
And
house, they say.
yeah, correct. They were like, buy a house, it'd be great. But no, now we're going to have to take down both of our trees at the end of the summer.
Yes, because Mother Nature killed the good tree, not the dead
Correct.
tree that was literally right on the other side of the yard.
Correct. Correct. So we're just thankful that it went the other way. It did not come towards the house. We didn't lose any power or anything. And silver lining, we met some new neighbors. So
Yeah. Thank goodness for nosy neighbors. They were vigilant in calling it out.
they were. I mean, and our neighbors called the city and 911 before we did. So I was like, honestly, we really didn't have to do anything
Yeah.
except just be in sheer panic for a little bit. But
Like, what do we do? There's a tree
yeah,
in the road.
I like called my dad. Well, I FaceTimed my dad and he was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, there's a tree in my
What do we
yard.
do in said situation?
Like, he was like, yeah, you have 2 trees in your yard. And I was like, no. It fell. It's like over. So yeah, so that was quite a Friday. And then this weekend we had some friends in town from New York who just adopted a baby. So we spent some time with them and just kind of hanging out. It was stormy weather here all
Yeah.
weekend, which kind of stunk, but
Well, it seems like there was stormy weather all over. When we get to the golf,
yeah.
we'll talk about more. But if the winds were in play last weekend,
Mhm.
the rain was in play this weekend. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I will say I am fully on this World Cup train.
Yes.
I shockingly watched more soccer this week than golf. Granted, there is
Mhm.
more happening during the week, but I'm starting to learn a little bit more. And
Mhm.
I'm thinking maybe I need to pick up a team to watch during off
Ooh.
World Cup season because I think that's part of it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
have an allegiance to any soccer team.
Yeah.
Granted, we have the San Diego Wave here, but like Chad, he watches Champions League,
Yeah.
Premier League, and he has his team, so he's more into it. But
Yeah.
I don't have that. So maybe I need to find said team to cheer
Yeah.
for when it's not a World Cup.
Yeah.
But I'm loving it.
I will say it's been so fun to watch. And I mean, yes, the World Cup, but also like since my relationship has begun almost a decade ago, just watching soccer in general.
Mhm.
Because with soccer and like the Premier League and all of that, they all play in Europe. So they're playing in the mornings for our time
Mhm.
most of the time. So he'll wake up at like 5 or 6 a.m. to like watch a game. I will not. But when I do wake up at like 7 or 8, I'll have my coffee and can just watch and drink my coffee in the morning. But soccer is one of those really fast-paced games and sports, which I think is good, especially for my ADHD. There's always something going on. But I still, to this day, I don't understand how, and I get it, they train, they're built differently. The amount that these players run each game is insane. Like,
yeah, I couldn't do it. I'm not a runner in any
no,
capacity. So that's
no.
why I liked basketball, because you run, but then you stop. I guess in soccer you kind of do too, but if you're in the, I don't know, what's the front, when we're in the front line of soccer and there's a breakaway, like you have to book it
Yeah.
down the field to get past the defender.
Agreed.
Yeah, so not a runner.
Nope.
No.
No.
So I will watch the running.
Yeah. No, I mean, I envy them, but some of my favorite parts of these games that has really kind of just turned into a joke at this point is the hydration breaks.
Yeah, which are
Sometimes
not normal. They
No,
implemented them for this World Cup.
they did, which I get it. Everyone stay hydrated, don't collapse, be healthy. But when you're playing a game and it's like mid-60s, a hydration break versus in New Jersey if you're playing and it's like 100 degrees. But I do think it was just another money grab from FIFA.
I
Of
did
just
see that too. Like it was just to get more ads in on the break, which I can definitely see. Although during the practice, when the teams were practicing at their facilities before the World Cup started, a lot of them, there were a lot of stories about the Euros not being able to handle the US summer heat because it's a lot more humid and things like that. Although, like the African nations and even some of the European nations, like they play in heat. Like the Middle Eastern countries, they play in desert heat. I guess not as humid, but hot.
Yeah.
So I can see both, but just knowing the business of sports, I can see why they implemented these hydration breaks.
Agreed. I mean, it's a great bathroom break for me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm like, great,
I mean,
yes, water and bathroom, and then I'm back. I'm good.
because you go away for a minute and then something happens. I was watching the New Zealand-Belgium game, and I was sitting there the whole time, and Belgium scored a goal, and I didn't even realize that the goal.
Like, how did that happen?
Yeah. It just happens so quickly. Like, it could be so slow for a few minutes, and all of a sudden, like, boom, all this activity. Yeah. I will say, though, that offsides is nasty pants. Like, the two offsides, particularly the Iran one, and then there was also the Colombia one, literally by a toe. Like, if this guy had a shoe size smaller, probably wouldn't have gotten called. But I do appreciate the VAR in soccer.
I do too.
Unlike other sports like NFL and NBA, they actually use the video replay in an effective way.
Agreed.
Although it's very nitpicky. When you see the
It
replays of those offside calls, it's literally like a sliver.
Yeah.
Which
Well, and
you feel bad.
I still am not fully clear of like, I feel like sometimes they use VAR and then sometimes they don't. And like, I feel like it's more times where I'm like, why didn't you go to VAR for this? Where like, I don't know. I mean, again, still learning about the sport and all the nuances, but it's very interesting on how it's run. But either way, it's been great matches. The competition has been real good and some outstanding plays and just goals by a number of teams that either weren't expected to go that far or not expected to score. So we love hearing some good stories there.
Yeah, one of them being the US, because nobody thought that they were going to do this well. People will say whatever they want about their pool, but hey, a win is a win. And when you get into these, high stakes matches, people show up. And they did lose to Turkey. Is it Turkey? Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yes.
I know we're going with the international way of saying things. I'm trying my best to learn.
It's Turkey.
Yeah. But yes. But they did play their bench. Christian Pulisic did come off the bench and played in the second half, which is a little risky. But, I guess we have to keep him a little bit warmed up to be able to play in the knockout rounds, which is this week on Wednesday in San Francisco. Well, Palo Alto, but San Francisco Stadium.
I can't with these. Like the San Francisco Stadium and New Jersey Stadium, Atlanta Stadium. I'm like, just call it its name.
Well, technically it's New York, New Jersey Stadium. But I did I
So
was
stupid.
wondering about this because all of the stadiums had to take their sponsorships. Even
Mhm.
at Gillette, they covered all of the brand names for all the condiments and all of that too. The only stadium that didn't cover up was Mercedes-Benz because they have
Mhm.
some sort of retractable roof that makes the spokes or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's part of the retractable roof. So FIFA granted
Ooh.
an exception because it would have cost so much money for them to cover it up. And then we
Mhm.
have stadiums like Gillette who got clever, and to cover up their name, they just made it look like shaving cream over the
My
Gillette name.
gosh.
Yeah,
That's
but that was
funny.
part of the whole thing with FIFA. They had to cover up all of the branding for all these stadiums, and that's why they went to generic, just
Yeah.
city names, which does sound a little funky, but I
Yeah.
get it. FIFA has very, very weird rules.
Yes. They're very tight and specific on
Mhm.
things that I
But
feel
not
like
consistently.
no.
Yeah, so I don't
That's
get
where
it.
I don't know.
You
It's
have a lot of learning
confusing.
to do.
Yeah.
But one thing that I don't really agree with is the double yellow card and then a suspension for the next game.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's so like I think one of the Egyptian players got his second yellow card, and this is before Iran's goal got taken away or
Mhm.
after. But he won't be able to play in the round of 32 because he got the double
Mm-mm.
yellow card. But when we were talking about the Knicks series with Victor Wembanyama, it's
Mhm.
7 flagrant fouls before you
Right.
get suspended a game. I just feel like it's too easy. They're throwing yellow cards all over the place, like just
Yeah.
to knock somebody out for a single elimination game seems a little too much, but
Yeah.
I think Egypt is the one team that I notice that it'll affect. But then
Mhm.
you have all these other guys who have yellow cards, so if they get one in the game, then they're donezo, which
Yeah.
again sucks. But
Yeah.
one of those
Yeah.
one of those FIFA things. Portugal Colombia was also a good game. I don't know if you
Yes.
guys watched that, but it ended up in a tie, zero
Mhm.
zero. Well, Colombia is good.
They are very
Portugal has
good.
been playing mediocre.
Mhm.
So with this tie, Colombia won that pool. Portugal got second. They'll play Croatia in Toronto on
Yep.
Thursday. So that'll be a great match. But the left side, I don't know if you've seen the bracket overall, but the left side is completely
Yeah.
stacked. Like
It's gonna be good.
you have US, France, Spain, Portugal, Belgium all on this side, and then you have Messi over here
Yeah.
with
Correct.
everyone else. So bring in the conspiracy theorists that
Mhm.
are saying that this is all stacked up for Argentina. But if you're a Simpsons follower, they predicted that it would be a Mexico Portugal final in this World Cup. So
Ooh, I love a
we'll see how that
Simpsons
goes. Yeah. Isn't that
take
so
on it.
weird how
That
that
is
happens?
yeah.
It's strange.
And I don't I've heard the conspiracy of FIFA kind of leaning into Messi, but
Hmm.
I don't know if I buy it because
Yeah.
even when they were picking like the teams for the different groups, like it
Hmm.
was completely well, from our take, it was completely random.
Yeah. But was it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know. I don't put it past any of these rich men who
Rule the world.
ruled basically, yes, correct. I was trying to
Yeah.
figure out a good way of putting it, but yes, rule the world.
Yeah, you know.
So, I don't know, but I mean, at the end of the day, Messi is good.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
and I
his
don't
team in general, if you take Messi out of the picture, they're not that great. I think
know.
France is the most well-rounded team from
Agreed.
what I've seen. Everyone kinda has their 1, 2 players, like England has
Mhm.
Jude and Harry Kane and,
Yeah.
other
Harry.
whatever. Harry,
Mhm.
I do love a "Hey Jude"
Mhm.
singing too after England wins or after Jude scores a goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Knockouts are gonna be
It'll
fun.
be fun.
They're gonna have the penalty. Is it not penalty kicks, but the shootout? If
Yes.
it's a tie, they have shootouts now. Is
Yes.
that what it's
Yes.
called?
I think so. I think it is a shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the end
Yes.
of this, those memes where it's like, "Me after 1 day of watching the World Cup. Me after 1 week of watching the World Cup." That's gonna be us by the
Correct.
end of this.
Yeah, the next time the World Cup rolls around, we'll be pro.
Experts, yeah. One of my favorite stories is the Cape Verde story. This is the first time
Yes.
they've made the World Cup, and they make it to their first knockout round, and their
Mhm.
goalie has gained like huge
Yeah.
following after their match
Yes.
against Spain. He had 50,000 followers before that match. He has over 17 million followers now. And
Oh
the
my
total
gosh.
population of Cape Verde is only like a little over 500,000. And now he has over
Wow.
17 million followers, which is
That's
wild.
wild. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah. And I know some people from Cape Verde. Boston actually has a very big Cape Verde population.
Okay.
And I was thinking back because I went to Portugal actually, I think it was no, it was 2015. And I was thinking like that I had been to Cape Verde, but it was the Azores. I was getting it all mixed up
Mm.
because when
Mm.
I looked at Cape Verde on the map, it's right off of the West African coast. And I was like, I don't remember flying that far.
Yeah.
But it's because my friends at the time were Cape Verdean, but we went to the Azores.
Okay.
Anyways, it's a great story. It's one of those
Mhm.
heartwarming stories that we love to see. And the home
Me
team
too.
seems to have the advantage because Canada advanced to their first round of 16 for the first
They
time
did.
ever. So all of the host nations seem
Yeah.
to be doing well, especially with their home crowds behind them. And
Mhm.
the adventures of Freddie continue. He is now in
Yeah.
New England. He made his way through Vermont. He went to a random softball game, women's
Okay.
softball game in New Hampshire, and he
Love
went
it.
to a WWE match in Boston over the weekend. So and not Guy Fieri. Who's the other guy? The Hell's Kitchen guy.
Yeah.
Spiky
Him.
hair.
Mhm.
Anyways,
Mhm. Mhm.
wow. Yep, that's gonna mess me up. But that person,
Yep.
he got him his hotel room in Boston, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is really cool.
So Freddie is just having the time of his life because JJ Watt got him his hotel room in Houston for that match down there. And he
Yeah.
has, like you mentioned last week, he has all the airlines hooking him up. Freddie is living the
Freddie
American dream.
is truly crushing it.
If this was the American dream, if
I mean,
anything was the American
he's
dream, it's
living.
Freddie.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm gonna look it up too because that's
I
bothering
know.
me. Oh, Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. Y
Thank God we figured that out.
Yep. It literally just popped up. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you go, Freddie. You keep it
Yeah.
up.
Hopefully he got a lobster roll while he
I'm
was
just
there.
wondering, without all these perks, how did
How do you
Freddie have the funds to do this unless he
listen,
extended because of I don't know, but again, good on you, Freddie.
yeah, I mean, does he have a brother? A cousin?
Again, still don't know what Freddie looks like because he covers his face in all of the anyways, but tying in the World Cup to the NFL
Mhm.
because they're playing in all these NFL stadiums, George Kittle, beloved George Kittle, tight end for the San
Yep.
Francisco 49ers, he came out and kinda criticized the NFL because with the World Cup, they have put in real grass for them
Yeah.
to play on these fields, and there's stadiums like MetLife that are
MetLife.
notorious for their turf and injuries. The Niners have
Yep.
gone through a bunch of injuries too, and he is saying that we clearly can see that it's possible for you to put in real grass.
Mhm.
And that just means that the NFL is not making it a priority. They don't want to spend the money. But now that this World Cup has
Yeah.
shown it's possible, I'm sure there's going to be more cries for changes to the fields because there have been a lot of injuries,
Oh, yeah. I mean,
definitely in the past 5 years.
MetLife is notorious for ACL injuries and things
Mhm.
like that on their turf, and I agree, right? I definitely hear what George Kittle is saying, and he's not the only one that's come out and said it. I feel like he's
Mhm.
just been the loudest about it so far, which has been
Yeah.
great. But I think on the flip side, right, when I think of MetLife, MetLife also hosts so many concerts.
Mm.
Right? So for these stadiums who, if they have real grass, it's
To
going to
upkeep.
take so much more upkeep to be
True.
able like, they can't just roll it on, roll it off, right?
True.
And, like, if they have a concert, are they just going to have people standing on the grass or to have the seats there? Or would they have to just build something above it, right? Like a ledge so that it's not
Yeah,
so
like a
I think
platform type thing. Yeah.
yeah, but then is that a safety hazard? I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's true. I didn't think
so,
about that.
I think that's the only thing that also popped into my mind with that, just thinking of MetLife specifically because that's the
Mhm.
most familiar I am with. So I'm interested. I feel like because there's been so much talk about it, the NFL is going to have to listen. They don't have to say something. They should
Yeah.
respond. But if there are any changes, I do wonder how it would affect
Other events.
other events, right? Because, yeah, football is the major thing that takes up those stadiums between August and January, but the rest of the year, it's a concert venue.
And also you have to think about the weather elements, right? When there's
Yeah.
snow and things like that in the Northeast particularly,
Mhm.
that will take a toll on real grass as well and how
Yeah.
you upkeep it. And there's other factors too, like they keep extending the length of the season.
Yeah.
I think originally the season was maybe 15 games. Now it's up to 18 plus playoffs, Super Bowl if you make it that far.
Mhm.
So I think it's a combination of a lot of things. You bring up a lot of great points about the multi use of the stadiums, but we'll see if the NFL
Yeah.
responds because he did make at the end of the day, like, their body is their investment,
Yeah.
right? You mess up the body, and if you lose big players like Kittle or Mahomes or Kelsey,
Yeah.
you're losing business because it's like the NBA when people go to watch Steph or go to watch
Right.
LeBron, when they're out, like, the fans get super disappointed and they get angry because the stars aren't so it's a
Mhm.
whole it's a
The whole
circle.
thing. Right. Right. Yeah. Well, and I think of even on my point of other events, like we think of where like basketball players, they play in arenas, right?
Mhm.
Those are multi-use, right? And
Yeah,
obviously it's different because you're bringing out a
inside.
court and it's inside, but there are parameters to make it accessible and easy to be able to do that switch.
Yeah.
So maybe we just need to invent something.
We need to get a geez, I can't
Yep,
say this word,
that.
horticulturalist to
Yes,
figure this out.
we sure do.
Well, we'll see come August when the preseason starts and see if
Yeah.
but they're obviously not gonna be able to switch it out that quickly, or I don't know
Yeah.
if they'll leave the turf or leave the grass that they already put in for the World Cup for the upcoming I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, like, what is the World Cup gonna do with all of that grass?
No idea. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Hmm. Yeah, now I have questions.
Yeah. Well, we'll do some follow-up. I'm sure more things will come out.
Yeah.
In the tennis world, Wimbledon, I mentioned, I think last week that it starts after the 4th of July. Nope, it
Mhm.
starts this week.
Now. Correct.
And we mentioned Serena's going to be back. Her first match is on Tuesday. The men's first round has some crazy matchups. One of the ones that we were watching was Fritz versus Draper, but Jack Draper, who is from England, dropped out before this match. So I'm sure Taylor Fritz is breathing a little sigh of relief because that was one that could easily be an upset. And
Mhm.
Fritz is coming back from injury, so I'm sure he wanted a little bit of a happier path to get to the
Yeah.
finals, but there's going to be some good matches there. And they had a cool Wimbledon replica Ralph Lauren setup in Central Park, which was
Mhm.
really cool. They had Andre Agassi and Caroline Wozniacki come out and they did some kind of exhibition matches and giveaways and the Ralph Lauren Bears. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. And soccer to tennis world, Sir David Beckham, who was at the
Yes.
World Cup game for England, has already made his way back to England to sit in the royal box
Yes.
to watch Wimbledon. So, David Beckham, Bex is living his best life as
He
well with soccer and the
truly is.
tennis,
He's
as
been
he
all
should.
over. Yes. I mean, and the amount of commercials he's in, I know he's been partnering with Bank of America on a ton of things. So
Mhm.
Sir David Beckham has been all over our screens,
Yeah.
going from sport to sport. So
Yeah.
good for him.
He posted a really cute thing of his mom. So McDonald's has like the FIFA World Cup cups in, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's like the Happy Meals or whatnot, and they have different players on the cups. So there was a video of his mom opening up the McDonald's cup, and it was a Beckham cup, and she was like, "Oh, I want it Thierry," referring to Thierry
Same.
Henry, the French soccer player.
That's so funny.
But apparently they are good friends. So they played against each other, and Thierry has been on the Fox
Yeah.
desk with Zlatan. So that's
Fun
been pretty cool.
fun fact. I met Tira Henry
Oh,
in France on our honeymoon. We were at lunch one day and then my husband starts freaking out
I can
and he's like
imagine.
like I'm pretty sure there was, like, another man who was also freaking out and, like, actually was crying
Oh
and,
gosh.
like, went up to him and was like, "I love you." It was this whole thing. I mean, obviously, they were talking in French, and then the silly Americans, we were just like, "It's so nice to meet you."
Yeah, I always, because I've come across my fair share of celebrity sightings, but
Yeah,
I'm always like, do I be that person that
yeah,
interrupts their day, or do I take advantage of the situation to like meet
yeah.
someone that I always see on TV? It's an
No,
inner battle that I
it
deal
is.
with when I see someone like that. In the NBA, free agency week starts, or free
Mhm,
agency starts this week. We already had a couple of big moves with Giannis. LaMelo got traded to
mhm.
Minnesota, so he's going to be playing with Anthony Edwards. Supposedly, Kawhi is in talks to leave the Clippers and go to the Mavs, which is big. And LeBron, as always, is the big story
Mhm,
here. There's talks that the Warriors are trying to get him. There's talks that Cleveland is trying to get him to go back to Cleveland, which him and the 2016 Cleveland Cavalier team, or
mhm,
most of them, not Kyrie, went on this huge golf trip to Scotland. The videos are
mhm.
hilarious if you haven't been able to see them. But yeah, or even Miami
Yeah,
talks to go back to Miami, or he'll just retire. We don't know.
yeah. Would
So
I know you're obviously a Warriors fan, would you want him to go to Golden State?
well, I'm a Lakers fan.
Yeah, that is fair.
But for the Lakers, I feel like they can't do anything until LeBron leaves that team. Like,
Yeah,
he's such a staple on that team now. He's obviously holding up salary space. A
yeah,
lot of the decisions are made around him. Not to say that the decisions have been good or bad, but
yeah.
when you have such a superstar on your team, similar to Steph and the Warriors, they make decisions
Mhm,
all around Steph because they're keeping him until he retires. So I just feel like it kind of handcuffs you a little bit when you have a star that's that influential on
yeah.
your team. And they just announced that Draymond waived his player option to make space for potentially an Anthony Davis LeBron trade. It just
Hmm.
seems very far fetched, but
Yeah,
we've seen crazier things. I don't know. I don't know what's
interesting.
gonna happen
Yeah,
because you always see these swirls of rumors of players going to one place and then they like end up in a completely
yeah.
different place than you thought they would. But I don't know. I'm sure we'll have more updates next
Mhm.
week when we see what happens this week. But it's just, as I mentioned, when you have a star like LeBron on your team and
Yeah,
all of the decisions for the most part revolve around him, it makes it
it's
hard.
hard. Yeah,
So we will see what happens. On to the golf updates. We had a little extra golf
we
this
did.
week. The Travelers Championship was this week at TBC River Highlands. Huh, I got that right. In
Mhm.
Cromwell, Connecticut. And Scotty this year has been the bridesmaid, not the
Yeah,
bride. Him and
yeah.
Victor were neck and neck on the weekend. On Sunday, there was a weather delay halfway
Mhm.
through the final round. And Victor was starting to drop off a little bit before
Yeah.
that weather break, and then I guess he just kind of revived himself during
Mhm,
I think it was like a little over an hour break, and they were going back and forth. Scotty made a really clutch par on
mhm,
18 to go to a playoff, and they had to play the playoff on Monday morning.
mhm.
And it was a sudden death on the 18. They both had amazing shots. Both of their drives were like right next to each other. They both had
So
great
crazy.
iron shots in. Scotty's shot was actually closer. So
Mhm.
Victor putt first. He made his birdie. And then Scotty, whose putter has been letting him down a little bit this year,
Yeah.
like skirted the left side of the hole. It seemed like a pretty straightforward putt. I think it was less than 4 feet.
Mhm.
It was pretty much a gimme from PGA standards. But yeah, his putting has been super
Not
off
great. Yeah.
this season. So I don't know
Yeah, I
what's
don't
going
know.
on there.
I don't know what if he's changed anything. I mean, listen, he has a newborn at home still. I think we
Mm,
still forget about like he's what, less than 3 months old at this point, or maybe just at
yeah.
3 months. So, I think it's Scotty's human,
Yeah. But he's
It's
not playing bad. I think
no.
he just had an amazing season last
Mhm.
season, and our standards for Scotty are just so
So
high.
high.
But this is
Yeah.
his fourth second place. He's been in at least the top 20s for most of
Yeah.
this. I think the whole season.
Yeah.
He does have a win, and he's still number 1 in the FedEx Cup points. So it's
Right.
not like he's doing horribly. I think
Right.
we just have all of these expectations for Scottie because of what we've seen of
Mhm.
him in the last couple of years. But
Yeah.
hopefully this is a good turnaround before they go overseas to Ireland. Yeah, where they'll
Yes.
Open,
Yep.
for the Scottish Open. I think Scottie's playing in the Scottish Open.
I think
We'll see.
so.
Yeah, most of the players do,
Mhm.
but yeah, we'll see. I'm sure Scottie will pull off another win before the end of
I'm
the season.
sure he
Yeah,
will. I mean,
so
listen, he won enough last year for a few
everyone.
years. So, like, he's still crushing it. He's still crushing the ball. I think he's just showing he's more human this
Yeah.
season, right? Like, he got a little irritated a couple weekends ago. He's missing, 4-foot putts that he
Mhm.
typically doesn't. And, like, that's okay. We don't
Yeah,
need perfection. He still has the accuracy and
mhm.
he's still crushing
A
it. I
great point.
mean,
Yeah.
when I turned on the TV on Saturday and I was like, Scotty's in the lead. There he
Yep.
is."
Never lose sight of Scottie. He's always up there.
No.
But I'm happy for Victor too because it's been
Yeah.
a little over a year since Victor won his last, and he's been pretty up and down.
Yes.
He's been at the top, he's been on the Ryder Cup teams, and I think everyone thought he was going to have more wins in the
Mhm.
last couple years than he has. But his last win was at last year's Valspar, was in May.
Okay.
So I'm happy for him too, and he had the whole Norwegian
Good.
contingency doing the row chants. So he had it seemed like a hometown, but
Yeah.
they made their way from Boston or New Jer New York, New Jersey
Yes.
over to Cromwell to support
Mm.
their guy, and maybe that gave him a little extra boost, and his mom was
His
there to see
mom.
him win.
Yeah.
She's never been there to see him win, so that was a cool and he's always likable. He's a quirky guy. He has
He is.
interesting interests, music tastes, but he's a funny
Yeah.
guy that I think everyone loves on the tour. Now he has an extra $3.6 million in his pocket to take with him.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just like, "Ugh, I gotta go to work this weekend," coming
Mhm.
home and be like, "I
Give me
made
one
it
of
to
them
this
big checks.
3.6 million." Like,
Yeah.
okay, great. I'm taking a vacation.
Mhm. And it was great to see Colin Morikawa up there too.
Yeah.
I think he shot a 61 on Sunday to get up there.
Mhm.
He was waiting in the clubhouse for like 3 hours to see if someone was gonna drop a shot, poor guy,
Yeah.
because he had some injuries earlier in the season, so it's good to see him come back a little bit to form, and he's won the Open Championship, so this will
Yeah.
be going over there, see if he can bring it back. On the LPGA, the KPMG PGA Championship, that is a
Mhm.
mouthful.
Yes.
Haeran Ryu was the winner, and she had a great tournament as well. She was 10
Yeah.
back of the lead going into Friday and had, I think they said like a 0.2% chance of winning. And then
Wow.
she shot a 65 on Saturday to get into the lead.
Mhm.
And obviously, everyone was watching Nelly trying to get her
Yep.
third straight major. And if Nelly wins a major this year, she'll make it into the LPGA Hall of Fame. She only needs 2
Wow.
more points. So everyone was watching Nelly. Ina
Mhm.
Yoon had a 5-shot lead going into the weekend, and then she dropped off, although she ended up finishing second overall. But this is
I mean,
Heron's 4th LPGA Tour win, her first major, and they raised the highest purse, so she wins $1.95 million. So that's a nice
not
little
too shabby.
payday as well.
Yeah. Well, and she was out for what, 6 weeks for
Yeah.
surgery too. So that's a good comeback for her.
Yeah, and I think she won Rookie of the Year when her first year on the LPGA. She came from the Korean tour.
Okay.
So, a good story. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
everyone knew that she was gonna win a major eventually, but you mentioned that the surgery kinda set her back a little bit this year, so
Yeah.
good to see the bounce back and
Yes.
a good paycheck.
Love to see it.
A couple of other cool stories too. Nicole Felci, who is an LPGA professional, she was the
Mhm.
only one to make the cut. And she's the first one to make the cut since 2019. We talk about Michael Block on the men's side as a PGA
Mhm.
professional making cuts. So it was cool to see Nicole make the cut into the weekend. And even for her, I think she takes home about 30 grand, which is still a good paycheck for an
Yeah,
LPGA professional. I wish I could go out there and play and get $30,000 checks. That would
literally.
be amazing.
I
Yeah.
mean, a $10,000 check would be great.
Yeah. Any sort of 1,000 check would be amazing. But to play a sport you love and
Yeah.
as a teacher, I think she's a professional at a course in Florida
Okay.
somewhere. I don't know if it's Tampa or somewhere on the East Coast, but
Yeah.
just a really cool story. She had all the other PGA professionals out there cheering her on. And I think for them, it's cool to see like one of their own make it
Mhm.
amongst all of the professionals. So
Yeah.
that was a cool story. And the Brooke Henderson story was also cool. Brooke had won the PGA Championship 10 years ago at
Mhm.
Sahali, and her sister actually gave birth to her niece I think right before the start of the first round, she found out, and they
Mhm.
named her daughter Sahali after
Oh my
that site
gosh.
of the win from 10 years ago. So that would
That's
have been a
so
cool story
sweet.
if Brooke won. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think she is hoping to come back into form a little bit too because she dropped off a bit, but now it seems like she's making her way back into the leaderboards. So good for Brooke. I love
Mhm.
all these heartwarming stories. They just make the sport so much
Same.
more fun to watch.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And next year is at Congressional Country Club, which is in Bethesda, where Rory won his first major. I was there. Do I have a
Oh,
hat?
yeah.
I do have a hat
Somewhere.
somewhere
Yeah.
in my newly organized closet, which we didn't
Yes.
talk about, but I had a whole full closet overhaul, and the amount of golf hats that I have is actually ridiculous. It's like
Mhm.
3 rows of golf hats, but anyways, we'll talk about that at another time and place. But it kind of goes along the lines of the CEO of PGA of America came on the broadcast and was talking about this week's tournament and the LPGA being able to play some of these more notorious cathedral courses.
Yeah.
Congressional is definitely one of those. So it's cool to see the increased purses, as we've talked about, the site locations for these tournaments, the elevated courses, and just growing the game overall. There was a group of, I forget the group, but it was a bunch of girls who were wearing Nelly jerseys, and just to see the impact that these women have on the future of the game, inspiring all these little girls to play golf. We know that women's golf has been a big movement, especially in the last
Mhm.
few years. So it's just cool to see the women's golf game get to this level of interest and visibility.
Agree.
Very, very cool story.
Mhm.
What else do we have? To follow up on the scheduling, our friend Rory had, people are just going to keep, I think Rory's just going to keep getting criticism no matter
Yeah.
what he does. He was seen at Royal Birkdale this week with Nick Faldo posted something on his story. So everyone was like, Rory's skipping the tournament again. He's going to practice. Everyone can practice at
Right.
these tournaments. Rory's just being strategic
Right.
about it. But the big story was that so every a PGA Tour member, they have to play a minimum of 15 events, and that's to kind of, keep it competitive, make sure that the
Right.
best in the world are showing up, etc. Rory's going to come up short of that. I think as of the US Open, he's only played 9 events. I
Mhm.
think he's only on track to play 14 this year. And for reference, this past week was Scottie's 14th event already. So he's going to hit the 15 minimum when
Oh,
he
wow.
plays overseas in a couple of weeks. But the commissioner granted a extenuating circumstances exception for Rory to
Okay.
not hit the 15 event minimum, which has people in a tizzy.
Mhm.
I think one of the headlines was rules for thee, not for me. But I don't know. I
Oh,
feel like
man.
Rory has kind of earned his way into being able to be more select. He's been on the tour for years and he's
Yes.
getting older. So a lot of players at this point focus on load management. Even in a press conference this week, Scotty said 3 weeks is kind of his maximum because you're
Yeah.
playing for 4 days, you have the practice rounds, you have all of the
Mhm.
media obligations. It just takes a lot of you out of you mentally
Yeah.
and physically. And Wyndham talked about it too after winning the US Open, although he prefaced with saying he would never trade it for anything. But all of the media obligations he had after the US Open, going on all the talk shows, going to the stock exchange, and then having to go to Connecticut to play another 4 days,
Right.
that takes a toll. And Rory
Yeah.
already earned a lifetime PGA membership in 2023 for the amount of cuts that he's made.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like people are just hating to hate,
Yeah.
and
Well,
I don't
and
know if
he's won the Masters this year. So it's
yeah.
like, I feel like arguably with that, he's going to have just as much, if not more, media
Mhm.
that he's going to have to do and all of that. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I think if it was someone else, like if it was Scottie, they'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, looking at where Rory sits in like the leaderboard and with
Mhm.
points and all of that, he's still doing his job, you
Yeah,
know?
and Rory took on a brunt when they went through this whole live thing in the last few
Yeah,
years. Like, Rory was the face of the
correct.
tour, and he took a lot of that on as being the
Mhm.
spokesperson with Tiger when
Yeah.
all this live stuff came out. So there's a lot of extras, and again, just age in general. Like, he's getting up there in age with
Mhm.
anyone. You can't expect them to play the load that they played when they were in their early
No.
mid-20s. That's just like natural human progression.
Yeah.
But when you have someone as famous as Rory and who has had such an impact on the game, but also the fans aren't making it easy for Rory to play either.
No.
When he goes to these tournaments, he gets heckled
Yeah.
and has all these bro chants at him. So it makes it not enjoyable for him to show up either.
No, it
So
doesn't.
the same people who are criticizing him for not playing are probably the bros out there heckling him week
Yes,
after week as well. So pick a lane, people. Pick a
correct.
lane.
Well, and I feel like with these changes that are coming with the PGA, like all of this will be null anyway. I feel like the changes that they're making will help
Mhm.
combat situations like this in the future.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's what, 20 to 23 events they said for the
Mhm.
championship track. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see what happens with the changes as well. But when those
Yeah.
changes happen in 2028, Rory's going to be 2 years older. So I don't know. But with the new schedule changes too, one of the stories that came up was regarding WM, and I'm sure it's going to
Mhm.
affect other tournaments. The Phoenix Open is one of the biggest
Yeah.
that gets the most attention, the most people going to it, all the bros.
Mhm.
But with
Correct.
the new schedule changes, the championship track tournaments require a minimum of 20 million for their purse. But the Phoenix
Mhm.
Open purse right now is only 9.6. So I don't know what other tournaments this applies to, but what will WM do? Will they increase their
Yeah.
purse, which 10 million is a lot to increase
It
your
is.
purse by, or will they go down to that Challenger Tour track, or will there be an exception made because of the
Right.
money that the WM brings in every year?
Yeah.
I don't know,
I don't
but
know. I
we will
feel like
see.
it almost should go down to the challengers one. Obviously, you can go both ways with it, but
Yeah.
it's always a mess, right? And like
Yeah.
talking about hecklers, it is
Yeah.
heckler central. On top of it, I feel like it's always Super Bowl weekend also.
So it's just
So,
a
yeah.
stirring pot of chaos.
Yeah. We'll
But
see.
we'll see. Yeah, I mean, because championship track players can play challenger track
Mhm.
tournaments. So it's not like the players can't play. But then again,
Yeah.
that's adding another tournament to their schedule. And I don't know if they will schedule, because remember I mentioned last week that the two tracks could have tournaments on the same weekend.
Right.
So would they schedule another one or leave it open? I don't know. But they're expected to announce the 2028 schedule in early 27.
Okay.
Although I'm sure, like I said, we'll see more as the year goes on.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but a lot of scheduling things to consider for the remainder of the
Yes.
year. And we'll go back to the Phil Mickelson story from last week, the allegations of inappropriate behavior
Mhm.
at one of the clubs here in San Diego. Alan Shipnuck and Scratch released a huge story, which some of the things from the story apparently were known,
Mhm.
particularly this story about Pat Perez's wife,
Yeah.
which in that article, there was a quote from Pat, I think, saying that he just kind of let it go. Like he didn't bring it up, but he has made comments about how he doesn't like Phil
Yeah.
for reasons that he didn't want to go into. Obviously, it impacts his wife. So they probably didn't want to put it out there. But even his wife posted something on her Instagram, basically validating the stories because Alan, I think, wrote a book about Phil a couple years ago, and this story wasn't included.
Yeah.
But he mentioned that at the time, Ashley didn't want to say anything or, add anything to the story.
Yeah.
But Now, this story has come out. There's stories of him being kicked out of other clubs, one being the Madison Club in Palm Springs, which
Mhm.
is a very exclusive club. The Kardashians and Biebers have houses
Hmm.
on that course. Must be
Yeah.
nice. But just crazy stories of him having crazy encounters with
Yeah.
women, him paying guys to drive his phone around for a few hours so it looks like to his wife he's on the golf course when he's not, which is crazy. Like, that is just
Diabolical.
diabolical
Like,
behavior.
are you kidding me? His wife better have a good lawyer and
Yeah.
divorce
And
his butt.
yeah, and his wife had cancer at one point too. I
Mhm.
forget when, but like having
Yeah.
to go through all of that. And apparently she's known about these antics
Mhm.
and continue to stay with him. And there's obviously been comparisons with Phil's activity and all of the press and hate to Tiger's,
Yeah.
which neither of it's good. All the
No,
stuff in Tiger's past and even currently with the
not
DUI,
good.
not good. Phil's not good. I would say that sexual harassment and DUIs are in different categories. Again, both not good, but I
Correct.
feel like they are different categories.
Mhm.
And Phil is denying all of these things, although Alan says that he has very reliable sources and it seems like he's directly spoken to Pat Perez and his wife, so that's not a
Yeah.
secondhand story. Phil has withdrawn from the Open.
Mhm.
That's happening in a couple weeks. It's the first time in 17 years he hasn't played. So this is having big repercussions. And
Yeah.
once Liv drops off, which we anticipate that it will, I don't know what the
Then
future
what?
of Phil's state will be.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm sure
mean,
we'll learn more, although this article
it's not
is pretty
good.
thorough.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much more can come out, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's not great for Phil. Not a
No.
good look.
No, and not good for his wife and his
Yeah.
family, and it's just listen, if we know he's a creep and he has issues with being inappropriate, I think it needs to be addressed, and, like, I get it. As a female, you may not want to expose your story or stand up to someone who has a lot of money and a lot of power.
Mhm.
But, I do appreciate the support that these women are getting from individuals like Pat Perez's wife. And, I mean, we support them. They don't know who we are. But, it's just I really hope they have a lot more support as this story continues to develop because, they deserve to be heard and get their story out.
Yeah. One person who I know can easily solve this is Olivia Benson.
Correct. Get my girl on it. Like,
Mhm.
she probably has already figured it out.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, unfortunate for everyone involved. It's not a good situation. If the allegations are true, we feel for the women because, like you said, it's
Mhm.
not easy for women to come out in this situation, like you said, against
Yeah.
powerful men who have influence. So, yeah, we'll see if more unfolds, but not a
Yeah.
great situation for anyone. Coming up this week, a little bit of a lull, which I'm kind of glad because
Mhm.
Wimbledon's probably going to be my personality for the next couple of weeks, in addition to
Yeah.
the World Cup.
I know,
But
right?
the PGA Tour has one more tournament stateside until they go overseas to Europe. The John Deere at
Mhm.
TPC Deer Run in Illinois. Last year's winner was Brian Campbell. And yeah, I don't know. The field is probably not going to be as illustrious because
Mm-mm.
everyone's probably making their way overseas. We'll still watch. We'll pay
Yes.
attention. I'm sure it's going to be some last folks trying to qualify as well for the Open.
Mhm.
And the LPGA Tour is on a break next week. Also good for me and my additional
Yes.
sports watching. And then they go to France for the Evian
France.
Championship for the fourth major of the year. And this is one that Nelly doesn't have. So if she wins
Okay.
this one, what did we call it? What happens when they win the four? Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Wow, that took way longer than it should have. She will complete the Grand Slam if she wins
Mhm.
the Evian, and then she has the Open for the
Yes.
super duper Grand Slam. I love how they have a Grand Slam and then a super. just makes it
Yeah.
so much more fun to watch. But yeah, this week is going to be another busy one. We have the 4th of July weekend coming up. So we hope everyone enjoys your 4th of July. I have some relaxing spa days, pool days, golf days coming up, which I'm excited
Incredible.
about. I don't know if you have any. You guys have any plans for 4th of July weekend?
No. I do know I have a tea time on both Thursday and Friday.
Ooh, look at
So,
you back to back.
you know, hubby is finally healed and ready to get back out there.
Oh,
So,
praise. That was
thank
a
God.
that was a
I know.
interesting day for us.
It was
Poor Chad.
stressful, but PT has been going well, and
Good.
he has now booked 2 tea times for us.
Back in the
Back to back.
saddle. Nothing like getting back into it with a back-to-back round.
Correct, during 100-degree weather. So we'll
Oh
report back on
gosh.
how that
Ugh,
goes.
and humidity, no. And bugs. Ugh.
Yeah.
Summer is in full swing because the bugs are out.
Yeah,
I
not
already
great.
been attacked by one mosquito in my own home this week, and I'm not
Ugh.
enjoying it. But yeah, 4th of July weekend, we have USA, we have Wimbledon. We'll see what happens in the NBA. There's a lot of stuff going on. So
Yes.
brace yourselves. We're getting into
Mhm.
the busy summer months. But thank you all again for joining us for another week of In the
Yeah.
Cup. We're always happy to have you here. Enjoy your 4th of July weekend, and we'll see you on our next episode. Bye.
Bye.